So I have 11 by 14 canvas, and it's a pre-stretched canvas. And I also have drawn out my boats. Okay, I drew out the boats so I can see where they're going to go. That way I can tell how much of the background I can have there, because I wanted the boats to be the main focus, so I made them bigger than the rest of the painting. So if you want to, you can make a pattern for yourself. I could do this pattern for you and send it to you, or you could try to draw them freehand. It's up to you, but I would suggest that you draw them freehand or trace them and put them on a piece of paper so that you can see how big they're going to be on your canvas, and that way you'll be able to work around the boats. Are they going to be the main focus, or are they just going to be in the background somewhere? So it's up to you. So we need some water. So the water is going, I want to make sure I got the water line correct. So my boats are going to be about here, correct? And then, so which means that I want to leave some space. I'm going to have this up here for the trees and the bushes that you see in the reference photo. And then you can make them probably that wide. And then you can have that for the sky, that for the trees, and then the rest for your water. So plan it all out first before you get started. I find that easier. So as you can see, I just have my primary colors of red, yellow, and blue. And I got a bit of burnt sienna there in case I need it, and some white. Now, you can make the colors whatever you want. I am going to adjust it to the way I want my colors to be, but I'm going to use the reference photo to help me put some nice colors on there. So it looks like we got some yellows and some I'm going to put on some white first to make sure it's nice and bright. Just with a flat brush, flat synthetic brush. You can use a flat or a filbert, right? And so I see kind of an orangey color up there, but I don't want it to blend, as you can see in the reference photo. So I'm adding some white with my yellow to make sure it's really bright yellow. All right, almost a white yellow. And I'm just going to scoop that in here, some short strokes. And then on top of that, or around it, so because I can leave out some of that white. So I'd like to have it even brighter than that. There it is. All right, and then what can I do? I can add maybe a little bit of burnt sienna, just a corner of my brush, because I don't want it to be overpowering. Just a little bit there. I think it looks like burnt sienna, doesn't it? It looks almost orangey too, doesn't it? So you can add a little bit of red to that, a little bit of yellow. So you make up your own colors, right? That's nice. And you add some white to that to brighten it up a bit. It's a nice color, isn't it? And let's just add some of that there. That's, like you said, you can see it in the reference photo. That will help you decide where you want to put it. So I'm just putting that around those yellows and light colors that I did. See? Good. It's impossible to get it exactly the same as the reference photo, because you'll be forever and ever trying to get everything exactly the same. It takes the fun out of it. So just do it your own way. Look at the reference photo to give you some clues and some hints of what you want to do. That's it. So you can, that's the trees. Okay, that's kind of nice. If you feel like you need to darken it up a bit, just add a bit more burnt sienna to your color. And just add a little more if you want. That's too dark, isn't it? Right? So, not to worry. Just add some white. Just white. That'll lighten it up for you. Okay? Good. Kind of like a little, yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. So you end up with too much dark on there, just add white. Move it around a bit. Good. You can always go back in with some white, a little bit of yellow if you want. Just clean off your brush a bit, put some white and yellow on there. Okay. It's kind of nice. All right. So I'm going to put my trees in here now. And then I'm going to put water in here, and then I'll put my reflections, okay? I won't put my reflections in because I'll have to work around the reflections with water. So you can even put your water on now if you want to, and then your trees. But I'm going to just put the trees in now, and then I'll do my water, and then reflections. Now you can make your own green, or you can use a you can use a sap green with a little bit of red, or you can make your own green from your yellow and your ultramarine blue. Add a little bit of red to tone it down a bit. Okay, so because I want it a little bit dark. And then I'm just going to use a bristle brush, because whenever we use a bristle, it's for tap, tap, tapping. Okay, so tap, tap, tapping. Tap, tap, tapping. See all the, when you tap like this with a bristle brush, see all the nice texture you get? It'd be hard to get that with a flat synthetic brush. So just follow the lines that you did. That'll give you an idea where everything goes. See, if you plan it out, it makes it so much easier. It seems like the trees are a little lower in the center than they are on the end. So yeah, it's going to come right over here. And what happens is they're a little higher on the ends there. Good. Great. Nice. Now we will add our water down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat brush again, because we're making smooth lines. So anytime you're making smooth lines, just take out your flat synthetic chiseled edge brush. And that will give you the smooth lines, okay? So let's see what we can do with the water. We have lots of water here. We need lots of room for the boats. So we're going to go with our yellow from the sky and white. More white than yellow. Okay. More white than yellow. Good. More white. So once you get a bit of yellow on your brush, go back and get just white, because it looks really, really dominant over that white there. I'm trying to get it brighter than that again, almost. So I'm just at the edge of those trees. I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to add more white. So I'm trying to brighten that up even brighter. Just kind of scrubbing. I'm kind of moving my brush around so that it's not just playing back and forth like that. You'll figure out the kind of strokes you want to make. You know, if you want to do that, fine. But I'm just trying to get some kind of movement, a little bit of movement in the water. Not much, but just something. And it seems like we're adding some other color to that, which is that burnt sienna. A little bit of burnt sienna, which are white and yellow. I'm just wondering now if that will be okay. Let's see, we got some up here. Yeah, that looks almost perfect. That's what it seems like. All right. Now our reflections are coming down there, so it's okay for it to be a bit messy. I'm just mixing those yellow, white, and burnt sienna together. It gets darker as it goes down here, you notice. Right? See that? So as we come down, we'll get darker and darker. Come over this way. Just kind of scrubbing on my... Might add a little bit of red to that. Looks like there might be some red in there. Some white that will pink it up a little bit, like in the picture. It's kind of nice. Just playing with my colors. Doesn't have to be exactly the same as the reference photo or even my painting that you're following, okay? If you like the colors, just add some colors together based on what you see, and then whatever comes out, it's going to be perfect. Don't worry about it. Unless it's horribly mud and black and all kinds of weird colors come out. You don't want that. I'm going to add a bit of white to my brush this time, just so I can move that around a little bit. There we go. It's working wet on wet. And see, because you're working wet on wet, how that blends in with that yellow. See? So as we come down, it gets darker and darker. And as it gets darker and darker, I'm going to add a little bit of blue. See, you get a purplish color. No, take that out. So we got our burnt sienna. I'm just going to take burnt sienna for now. It seems to be getting darker and darker as it goes down, so burnt sienna. There we go. I'll start adding a bit of red. So we got burnt sienna, a little bit of red. And that's nice. Add a bit of white to move it around. The white will help keep the paint wet enough to blend everything, and it'll get it moving for you. Good. Now the boats are going to be around here, so, but you still need to have paint all of that so that you can see the water. So let's get it over here. Just burnt sienna and a bit of red because it's getting darker. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. I'm playing around with my colors. Okay, I don't like that. Too late. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll just add a bit of white to move it around. That's alright though. It's okay. I like experimenting. If it doesn't work out, I'll just say, okay. It's not too bad. Not happy with it, but how are you going to learn unless you try and make mistakes? I guess you call them mistakes or happy accidents. It's a happy accident. Look how pretty it is. Nothing wrong with that. So we're getting down here now. So we want some more burnt sienna. A little more red. Nice and dark down here. Now if you rather, you can mist it a bit if you like. You can mist it with some water or some magic mist. Oh, came out a little bit too much. That's okay. You gotta be careful with those spray bottles. Sometimes they stick or the paint dries on the nozzle and you end up doing what I'm doing, making a mess. I'm not going to worry about it. Now, as we go down, it's even getting even darker. So I'm going to use my burnt burnt sienna, some blue to really darken it up, and some red. And I'll cut darker. Isn't that nice? That's really nice. So let's go down here. Get that down here. Because if it's too dark, the reason I'm doing this, going down here, is because if it's too dark up here, then it's hard to fix. So, a little bit more, a little more blue. There we go. So I'm just putting on colors. More burnt sienna. A little bit of red. So you can see what colors I'm using, right? So you can play around with those colors and mix them to however you like them. You know what I mean? Like, just try them out. You can try them on a separate canvas or a separate piece of paper to see if you like the color. because really dark colors are hard to fix. That's why I start at the bottom, because if I make a mess, then at least, you know, it's at the bottom. And the bottom is dark anyway. So, a little bit of blue going on here. I'm just looking at some colors in the reference photo. I see a little bit of blue going on here. There's going to be reflections from the boats anyway, so we'll be adding those. So I'm going to add some yellow to my burnt sienna here. I'm just going to add, because that'll lighten it up a bit there now. More burnt sienna. And then I'm going to add some white. So as you can see, I'm playing around with the colors. Playing around. Burnt sienna, just burnt sienna. There we go. Let it all mix on the canvas. That way you're going to get a pile of different colors. You know, you're going to get a ton of... you're going to get a bunch of different values of the colors, right? If you do it this way. If you try to mix it in one color and you put it on, that's all you get is that one color, which is fine, because even in the reference photo you see the one color. But if you want to have some interest, then you might want to add different colors. You know, I'm just adding a bit of white and a bit of yellow. See? It's pretty cool. I like those different colors. Yeah. So when those boots, so when those boats go on there, then we'll be able to really adjust anything that we want to adjust. But I'm sure that's going to be fine. Right? That will be fine. Just adding a bit of white to my dirty brush, just so I can move that around. Look at all those different colors. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now that's pretty. So let's put on our reflections of our trees. Alright, so get your bristle brush again. And then we will get our green colors again. And we will do our reflections. Okay, so whatever green you have there, make sure it's got a bit of a earthy tone to it. Just add a little bit of red to your green, sap green, whatever color you got there. And that will make it nice and dark. A bit of earthy color. And then you're just going to come down, match that up with that top part there. Alright. There we go, and then just come over. Kind of match it up so that it looks, you know, pretty similar to the one on top. It is a reflection. So I'm just tapping on the line there, sort of blending the two of them together. Give it the little tops that they have there. There we go. So the reflection is pretty close to what the top part is. It's kind of coming around that corner there. Add a little bit more red to give it an earthy tone. There we go. What I'll do is to separate those trees, I will be putting a piece of land, or, you know, I'll be dividing that up there. But that looks nice, doesn't it? It's alright. Alright, that looks good. So we'll separate those trees. If you can use if you can't use one of these, or you don't have one, a palette knife, and use a flat edge, chiseled edge of your brush, okay, of your synthetic brush. But I'm going to use this to get some water lines on top of what I just did, okay. So if you're right-handed, then put the paint wherever you're going to lay it down. So you're laying it down here, then the paint would go on the bottom side, right? So because I'm left-handed, I can still use the top side because that's the way I roll. So there we go. Divide, divide. Good. So that's nice and divided there now. And then you can add some water lines on top of that. Tone down the white by putting a little bit of green in with the white just to tone it down because you don't want it to be like white chalky. Okay? There we go. Good. Split it up a little bit. It's kind of chalky, isn't it? There we go. Good. See how it makes the trees look like they're underwater? Now those trees, you can add highlights to them if you want to, but because I made my own green, I threw in a little bits of red and things like that to it. I don't really need to do anything else with it. As you can see, the trees got some little added color to them. So it was all in one step, which is kind of nice. Now let that dry completely, like really dry. And make sure, because if you put your pattern on and it's still wet, it won't transfer. So, and even if you're going to draw it out with chalk or with pencil or whatever you're going to use, it still won't transfer because it's still wet. So it has to be completely dry. So as you can see, you draw your boats on first. Make sure you get the right size that fits your canvas. And then you can draw them, like I said, freehand or whatever way you want to do it. Draw them on paper first. And then you can transfer them to your canvas with either carbon paper or whatever means that will help you. I use carbon paper. I don't mind that because I can paint over the lines. See, and they're not too light. So get the boats on and get the shape on. You can even change up the boats and have whatever kind of boat you want. All right. I'm just going by the reference photo. I may not do the same colors exactly the same. I may change things up. I'm going to see as I go along.